Hello everyone. Today I will be reviewing the Starlight Medium versus Small. I've had the medium for about 2 months now. I bought it off eBay, and I've had the small for upwards of 3 to 4 months now. I will be showing off just the differences between them, their quality control issues that they both have, because yes, they both do have quality control issues, other than the small. I already talked about that in the Starlight review. This one also has some issues that I'd like to point out. Obviously, I'll talk about the shape, the weight of the clicks, the scroll wheel. I'll talk about all that in this video. Starting off with mouse 1 and mouse 2, I already talked about the issue with the left click on the Starlight small. The Phantom did not have any issues for about, I think, like 10 minutes. And then the right click started like having this really weird vertical wobble to it. I don't really know how to explain it, but it makes like a popping noise every time you tap on it. And it sadly will not show up on mic because I have a suppression on, because I'd rather you guys not hear the fans. But yeah, it's very annoying, but it's not like, because it doesn't really like matter. It doesn't really change anything. It's just kind of there and it's annoying. It's unfortunate you pay that much for a mouse, but it's unfortunate. So the main difference between the small Starlight and the medium Starlight is the fact that the Last Legend has Omrons in it and the Phantom has Chelates. The Omrons feel a bit more responsive and a bit more tactile, whereas the Phantom feels a bit snappier. And they feel a bit, these are a bit louder too, and they're a bit more clicky. Overall, I think I prefer the ones on the Omrons because they just feel overall better. They feel a bit more premium. And also the Chelates also double click every once in a while. Yes, the Phantom has a double clicking issue. It does it like once every couple hours, like it'll just double click, and I'll see it, like I'll be on Twitter, and it'll just like double click randomly. It's weird. It doesn't affect me in game because it's not bad enough. It's not like how my old G Pro, like it was really bad and it was affecting me in game, so I literally had to buy a super light because of how badly it was affecting me, but it's not a bad issue. It's still, I paid $189 for this. I would like it to work for longer than a month. You know what I mean? And there's nothing I can do about this now. I would have to like send it in and get it repaired and spend like 40-50 bucks because for shipping and handling, because these mice only have 1 year warranty. So there's nothing I can do. I have to spend money on this for only owning it for a month. Plus of me also buying it on eBay. Not the best choice I could have made, but I could have just waited for the Ultralight X. But I really wanted to see what the medium was like. And now I have. But I like both mice. I would say when it came down to my aim not being as good as on the small Starlight, that was more because I was aiming wrong, because I was holding the mouse wrong. I was trying to take my aim from the, or not my aim, I was trying to take my grip from the Superlight and trying to apply it perfectly onto the small Starlight, and it wasn't working. So I pretty much just went in with the approach of grab the mouse, and that seemed to work for both mice, and I didn't have any problems. I like both mice. I perform well on both. It's not like I perform better on the small Starlight because it has a more premium feel. No. Both mice I do well with. I don't die and be like, oh, darn, if I had the medium Starlight, I would have won that one. Darn, man. No, I don't. If you ever blame a mouse for your death, that's on you. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for the left and right click. The scroll wheel. The point definitely goes to the small Starlight. The small Starlight has, obviously, like I talked about in the review, but it's a bit heavier, and it has more defined notches compared to the Phantom. The Phantom is a very light, mushy scroll wheel. It works, it does what it needs to do, it's a scroll wheel, but it's not as premium as the small Starlight. It also makes a ticking noise every time you scroll with it. I don't know if it'll pick it up while I'm talking, but if you can't hear it. Okay. Um, yeah, it's just not as good of a scroll wheel, not as premium. What Fine almost got away with on the earlier batches is actually insane to me. Like their quality control issues on their older versions of the Starlight's actually crazy. Like the fact that this mouse got out of production is insane to me. There's also a bit of creaking, obviously. There's going to be some creaking on the sides. If you flex it hard enough, it will make some noise. Doesn't affect you in game. It's not bad. Small Starlight is built a lot better. The only issue I had obviously was with the left click. There's no other issues that popped up at all. Yeah, there's a bit of side wobble on the mouse one and mouse two, but other than that, that's pretty much it. The biggest thing you will notice when you get these mice, if you have the medium and the small, is obviously the shape. This one is a lot better for fingertip gripping because of how much smaller it is when it comes to the width and the length. The height didn't really matter to me because when the way I grip, the height literally means absolutely nothing to me. I feel no difference height-wise. The main difference I feel is width-wise and length-wise and how big the medium feels in my hand compared to the small. If you have bigger hands, get the medium, please. Unless you fingertip grip. If you like to fingertip grip and you like small mice, then yeah, go for it. And if you're used to it, go for it. But depending on what you like or what your grip is, if you palm grip, definitely get the medium. Sorry, my dad's doing construction some right now. Great timing. Anyway, um, as I was saying, the palm gripping the medium is going to be a lot better for you. Get it can feel it fills out your hand a lot better at the back of your palm, and with the small, it's definitely a fingertip, or if you have bigger hands, aggressive clawing mouse. I do not grip mice like a normal person. Like I grip. This is how I grip my mouse. This is how I grip my mouse. No back, no palm contact at the back here. Only contact is right here. And the reason I have it right here is because it feels like a fingertip grip. It gives me that quick and a lot of adjustment, but it gives me that stability when I need to control recoil or I need to like hold an angle. And in Siege, the main thing, you are doing a little bit of everything. You're holding angles, you're aggressing, you're pushing, you're taking aggressive fights. You're doing a lot in Siege, depending on your role that you play. And the way I grip my mouse kind of just centers around my playstyle of being quick, being aggressive, but also being able to hold an angle if I need to, which is when this part will then rest. Basically, when I'm flicking around, I will do more of a fingertip grip, but then when I need to hold an angle, I'll tighten up a little bit and then I'll hold the angle. And I can do that with both mice. Like, I don't have a preference, really. Like, both mice work for me. I would say the medium is a lot more controlled. The small is a lot more fluent. And I do kind of change my grip up a little bit pairing to both mice, but overall, my grip is mostly the same. Like, there's obviously going to be little differences, like where my where my thumb rests according to the sensor, as you can tell. It's a little bit different with the small. It's a bit higher up, but that also could be just because I'm just gripping it and then just kind of showing it. I'm not really like about to like play the video game. Yeah, but overall, both mice work for me shape-wise. But lately, I have been using the small Starlight a bit more. Like I used the medium for a while there, and then I actually switched back to the Superlight, which is just back there, right there. But I ended up going back to the Phantom again, and then I switched to the small again. I switch back and forth quite a bit because I just kind of enjoy it. I enjoy using different mice. It's kind of fun just switching back and forth between, you know, my biggest mouse would be in the Superlight, and then a medium, and then a small. It's just a little bit different aiming experiences, and it's pretty fun. But overall, I don't really have a preference. I use both. So moving on to the coating. The coating on the last legend is a bit more matte finished, especially on like on the black parts. It's a lot more matte finish, which it definitely helps when gripping it, and it doesn't feel as slippery compared to the Phantom, which is a bit more like a metallic feeling mouse. And both mice do get cold, but the last legend does get a bit cooler compared to the Phantom. The Phantom will get cold, but like I'll put my hand on it within 10 seconds. It's pretty much like the temperature of my hand. So one part I actually forgot to mention was the side buttons. The side buttons on the Phantom are kind of little like interesting because they're a little bit more spaced out. It's like 2 millimeters, but I definitely won't be able to pick it up. But between this and this, there's a little bit of a gap in between. When compared to the last legend, there is no gap, or it's a lot smaller of a gap. It doesn't affect gameplay. It's just the manufacturing process of Final Mouse improving over the time with the last legend compared to the Phantom. This being the second ever drop. This being the fifth, sixth drop. I don't know, somewhere around there, somewhere there. But the side buttons do feel better on the last legend. They feel a lot snappier, feel a lot more tactile. Maybe that comes down to the Omrons, but they're a lot less mushy compared to the Phantom. The Phantom have very mushy side buns. They're not bad by any means, like super light level, but they're not as good. Like if I was going to rate it, these would be S tier. These would be like B minus maybe, and then the super lights would be like C D. That's how I kind of like rank it. If that helps you kind of determine how each one feels. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to make this like a crazy scripted edited video. I just kind of wanted to get in front of the camera and just start talking about them. But yeah, the overall the Starlight small does feel a lot better. It is obviously newer. It is Final must have improved their manufacturing process, which is obviously shown with the last Legend having a lot less QC issues compared to the Phantom. The Phantom QC issues aren't bad by any means, but it's just nice to see that the last Legend feels a lot more worth the $189 price tag compared to the Phantom. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.